To date, I'm doing a video, does Shia serve God? Because I did one about Ryan, so now I'm doing one about Shia LaBeouf. And I'm putting this in part 10 of my Shia LaBeouf series because it's about Shia LaBeouf. So does Shia serve God? And this also plays into this verse from Malachi, chapter 3:18. So you will again distinguish between the righteous and the wicked, between one who serves God and one who does not serve him. So this is what I pulled out from Shia when considering does Shia LaBeouf serve God or not. So I'll start off with this video from an interview that he did with Hot Ones.
Yeah, so I'm half Cajun, so yeah, I'm a hot sauce guy, but I'm also half Jewish, so I'm a little frightened.
So more about Shia. He's half Cajun and he's half Jewish. So that's cool that you like hot sauce. I like hot sauce too. Also, Shia has a cool name. So his first name is Hebrew, it means gift of God, gift from God, or it could also mean like praise God. And then his last name, LaBeouf, it means the bull or the ox. I think it means the bull. But I think bulls and oxen are the same. The only difference is that oxen are castrated, apparently. I learned that when I Googled the difference between, because in the Bible, well, oxen are good, but bulls are bad. So I Googled the difference, like what is the difference between a bull and an ox? And apparently oxen are castrated. So there's that. But I think he has a really cool name. Especially his last name, the bull. A lot of my past acquaintances have made fun of me and have mocked me, and I like the imagery with animals and the similarities with like their works and then like the works of men, and like God is teaching with the animals. God has created, the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. So like in the creation of animals, it's like we can learn from them and their character, their shape and their form and their character traits. So my past acquaintances have made fun of me for my interest in animals like oxen and donkeys. But yeah, I think your last name is cool. And it's okay that people have laughed at me and made fun of me for it. They're just jackals. So here's a cool... This is one of my favorite videos about Shia LaBeouf. It's just him on the street. But I think he's the most like Jesus in this video. So I'm going to play it.
Please. Guys, please, I travel for you. Please, I am big fan. Please, I travel from Greece for you. Please.
What do you need?
A photo, just a photo.
Okay, ready? Let's take a photo.
What do you need?
Good?
What do you need?
Good? Okay.
I like it because in this interaction, no one's really considerate about Shia. They're kind of caging him, they're crossing his boundaries, they're interfering on his personal space, they're poking, they're prodding, they're not really respectful of him, they're not considerate of his needs, they're not treating him like a human, they're not treating him, they're not being considerate of him and his needs, they're not caring for him. But amidst all of this, and it's like, even though these people aren't considerate of Shia and Shia's needs, and how their behavior is affecting Shia, it's like Shia is still considerate of them. He's still considerate of them. Like, what do you need? What will make you happy? What do you want? He's like fulfilling all of their desires while his own needs are being disregarded. No one's considerate of him, yet amidst that situation, like, he's still considerate of everyone else. So that's why I like that video. And it reminds me of Jesus with like this example. like when they're questioning Jesus, and one of the offers standing nearby struck Jesus, saying, "Is that the way you answer the high priest?" Like they're disrespecting Jesus, they're treating him with contempt. Amidst that suffering, like Jesus still respects them. If I have spoken wrongly, testify of the wrong, but if rightly, why do you strike me? So I like that past video of Shia, and they paint it in like a wrong light. They're saying like, oh, he was provoked. He's getting frustrated. Well, it's like, yeah, their behavior, it's like they make his frustration the problem rather than the provocation of those around him. It's not, the people around him that are provoking him. It's like they're not the problem. The problem is his emotional response. His frustration that people are encroaching on him and crossing his boundaries, and they're not respecting him, and they're treating him with contempt. It's like, no, Shia is the problem for getting frustrated. It's not the people's fault for putting him in a circumstance where it's like they're interfering with his like personal boundaries. So yeah, so like with the situation of Jesus, it's like they're not respecting Jesus. They're and how they treated Jesus is different than how like Shia's fans are treating him. So I'm not saying it's like exactly the same, but I think like the principle is there in like smaller form, where like here it's like they're disrespecting Jesus. They're not considerate of him. They're treating him as if he's like a lesser person, and Jesus is still responding to them in a respectful way. If I have spoken wrongly, testify of the wrong, but if rightly, why do you strike me? So I can kind of see that principle in that past video of Shia, where it's like no one is considerate of him, no one is respecting him, and yet he still is responding in a way where it's like he's considerate and respectful of the people around him. 4 stars for that. And then with this interview...
And then in a 2008 details profile, you said that you'll read every comment surrounding the movies, even the mean places. 10 years later, do you still have that same appetite for reading your own press?
I slowed down on that a little bit. I was told to, but yeah, I care. And especially like Peanut Butter Falcon, something like that, where Zach's reading them, so I'm trying to like keep up with him, and he sends them to me. So yeah, with Peanut Butter, I read a lot of them. I don't think I'm gonna do the same thing on Honey Boys. It's just too close.
It's too, right, too personal.
I imagine my papa will read them, though. You always got, like, contrarians, too, You always got somebody who just wants to be slick, so... And that one will hurt me. I'm a very sensitive dude.
You'll remember that one out of the 100 that are positive.
Yeah, exactly. So I stay away.
So, Shia has a feeling heart. He's a very sensitive dude. He's hurt by the words of others. He has a soft heart. And then here's some scripture, Ezekiel 36:26. I'll remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. And then here are Psalms of David. From the wicked who despoil me, my deadly enemies who surround me, they have closed their unfeeling heart. They have unfeeling, calloused, stony hearts. With their mouth, they speak proudly. And again in Psalm 119, verses 69 through 71. The arrogant have forged a lie against me with all your precepts. With all my heart, I will observe your precepts. Their heart is covered in fat. They have an unfeeling heart. It's covered in fat. You press it and it's just, it's unfeeling. It's numb. It's unfeeling. There's no empathy. There's no compassion. They have an unfeeling heart. But I delight in your law. It was good for me that I was afflicted, that I may learn your statutes. So Shia is affected by words. He's affected by the words of others, and he's affected by the words of God. He has a feeling heart. So I put 4 stars for that. Also, Shia, when I was looking up that Jeffrey guy, there was someone who gave like an eyewitness testimony about what they saw at the bar that night, and they gave their testimony. It was against you. They were speaking like negatively about you, but one of the things they said is that you jumped up on the bar And you said something like celebrity bartender time or something like that. And they were talking about it as if it was a negative thing. But when I read that, I'm like, what's their problem? Like, he was volunteering. Yep. So people have their comments. If they want to view things in a negative light, sometimes that says more about them than it does about you. But I was laughing at that. They were saying, like, he jumped behind the bar and was like, celebrity bartender time. And it's like, why are you upset? He's volunteering. He's serving. What's the problem? So sometimes, yeah, people's comments, it's like they want to speak negatively, but if you look at it, it's like, what's wrong with that? And it's like, yeah, you might not have like a liquor license or anything to qualify you to serve alcohol, but I thought that was funny. Yep, contrarians, they'll always, if people want to be hateful, they'll be hateful. But also Peanut Butter Falcon, I think, is one of my favorite movies of yours. I enjoy watching it because when I watch it, it's an experience for me. Like this picture, it's like I know this smell, I know this feeling, I know the feel of the boat. I know what it feels like. I know what the air feels like. I know the sound, the noise of the engine. I grew up in St. Mary's, Georgia on the coast, and my dad had a lot of boats when we were growing up, so I was on the water a lot too. And watching this movie, even like the dock scene and like the wood, the weathered wood, what it feels like, I have an experience from my past experience. I have a knowledge of like these sensory things of what it feels like, what it smells like, what it sounds like, so I can put myself in this movie, feel like I've experienced it, so it hits close to home. So even this scene, it's like I've been there. I don't know where you shot it at. Again, I grew up in like St. Mary's, Georgia, by Cumberland Island, like Marsh Girl from Where the Crawdad Sings. So that's like where I grew up. So I really enjoy Peanut Butter Falcon, one of my favorites. Not just for the scenery, but because of the message too. I enjoy it. So if other people haven't seen it, they should watch it. So another clip about Shia.
Words not okay to say. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. That's what I mean by being. I'm a Catholic. I'm not supposed to be out here. I'm wrong for what I did. Is what I'm saying.
How was the experience of going to jail?
So again, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I gave this 4 stars. This is very Christian-like of Shia, and it's very characteristic of one who serves God, that he doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. An attack on someone's mind or an attack on their inner man, their heart, that's an attack on the temple of God. God dwells in the mind, in the conscience, in the inner man, in the heart. So to attack one's heart, to attack their feelings, to inflict harm to someone's mind with like lies or deception, or their heart by hurting their feelings, well, that's an attack on the temple of God. So, and Shia, as a man, to confess that and say, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, it's wrong to hurt people's feelings, I should probably give that 5 stars. I have it here as 4. Maybe I'll change it to 5. That is very characteristic of one who serves God, that they don't want to harm others. The meek will inherit the earth. Not that meekness is a lack of power, but it's power in service to others, not used to overpower them and be against them and, being a man of violence. Psalm 139, see if there be any hurtful way in me. And then I have Proverbs 20:30, stripes that wound scour away evil, and strokes reach the innermost parts. So you can afflict people give them stripes and wound them with your words, hurting their feelings. Strokes reach the innermost part. So Shia doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I'll give that 5 stars. And then with this video, again from Hot Ones.
Oftentimes, we fact check the larger-than-life mythology surrounding our guests, and nobody...
You don't even touch your liquids this whole time.
Well, you're just hitting the water. I think I have this weird habit of mirroring the guest.
Okay, but you haven't mirrored me at all, because I'm almost done with my water, so what are you talking about? That was a fake fact right there.
Nobody has been larger.
So at first I had this down as Shia has wisdom, and I put that as 2 stars because wisdom is given by the Spirit, and wisdom comes forth from God. Like if someone has wisdom, like the origin and source of all wisdom is God. That's the ultimate source of wisdom. It comes from Him. So if people have wisdom, well, they obtained it somehow, either by experience and providence and creation, or by the Spirit. But either way, it's from God. So with here, where you're able to discern that's a faked fact, shows that you value truth and you hate falsehood and you don't like inauthentic people, liars, and pretenders. But then the more when I was looking at this recently, I don't know if this was scripted, because he starts off, I didn't notice at the beginning how he says, oftentimes we fact check. And then you kind of enter into this little dialogue where it's like, the conclusion is like, oh, that's a faked fact. So I don't know if the whole thing is scripted. I thought it was natural. I thought it was you. I thought it was of yourself in the moment. But now looking back, I think that whole bit might have been scripted. So, yeah. So that one might be a wash. And then back to the Channel 5 interview.
Living like this for in terms of people taking pictures with you, like living as a public figure? Did it start when you were 18 or was it younger than that?
Man, I was on Even Stevens shit was like popping hard. If you were a broke kid in America, everybody watched Disney Channel and Nickelodeon.
We were upper
you know what I mean?
middle
It was like
class,
everybody would just sit at
and
home
I
and watch that
watched
thing. So I grew up
Disney
with everybody.
Channel.
We all grew up together. And that's what it is. So I know what that
And
is.
Even
It'd be like me
Stevens.
running
We
into Will
weren't
Smith.
broke.
Give me a picture. I
But-
grew up with you. You
Yeah.
owe it to me. You're my uncle. You
That's
know?
how I feel about Will Smith too.
He's my fucking uncle, bro. It doesn't matter what I don't give a shit. It's my fucking Uncle Will. Like everybody else in America, don't act like, it's just what it is. So I'm in this weird category of, I have this familiarity with people, and yet I'm trying to do this artist thing, but it's deeper than that, because it's like family. You meet people, they don't give a fuck about art. People just want to hug you because they're your cousin in a weird way.
It kind of goes back to something you mentioned earlier, which is like, there are people who like cross boundaries as a public figure, but then you also want to please people.
Yeah.
So how do you walk that line?
Well, you got to be authentic, or otherwise you go to hell. Which, I don't want to speak too much about it, but I know intimately about people around me. You know what I mean? You got to keep it authentic, I think. And I think, I'm Robin Hood, kind of. I don't know. I've always been kind of. I don't know, man. Maybe it's like I got this Grey Goose sneaker soul. Does that make sense?
No.
Do you know
Yeah.
what Grey Goose sneaker is?
No, I just.
Fake dirty sneaker.
They're kind of like
They're like
Strawberries.
really wealthy.
My
fake
sister
dirty
always
sneakers.
said I had an old
No,
soul.
I didn't know about this.
I don't know, something about it feels too close to home for me to ever wear, but so intrinsically true. I grew up poor and then I got rich as fuck early, Rich to me was $8,000 a week, which is what I was getting paid on Even Stevens. That's crazy fucking stupid money, bro.
The way you talk is so cool. Even how you just say, like, intrinsically true. That phrase resonates within me. So intrinsically true. I understand about the Grey Goose sneaker. My sister always said I had an old soul. But Shia likes art, so I give this 2 stars for serving God. So Shia likes art, I like art. So like art is a form of communication. You can communicate with art in ways that you can't with simply writing words. You have like a written word, and then you have like a visible word. And I know like Presbyterians, they'll say like ordinances are like the word made visible. Yeah. So like with art, you have, it communicates, it declares, it proclaims silently without words in a way that words can't. Like Psalm 19, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament his handiwork. There are no literal words, yet their voice has gone out. So it's like there's a proclamation that's made in creation and in art that's done without words. So I enjoy art and learning about art. Yeah, so art can convey truth that words aren't able to due to their limitations and bounds. So like words are containers, they hold a value, and their parameters are defined. Words are defined. There's limits, there's bounds, there's definitions, they're defined. And some words, they have a semantic range, but it's still limited. So words, it's like you can communicate. You use words to communicate something, to impart it from one mind to another. You use a word, and that imparts the value. It stores a value, and then when a person hears it, it's like they receive it. So that it's like words are containers, and they communicate truth. But sometimes, so with words, there's like structure and bounds and order, but with color and art, well, color is fluid and dynamic. You don't really have bounds with color. You don't have limits. You don't have parameters. With color, it's fluid, it's dynamic, it's not restricted, it's not confined, it doesn't have to submit to grammar and rules and language the way that words do. And it's like you might not be able to find the perfect word to convey something, but you can find the perfect color. You can dial it in. You can find the perfect hue, the perfect saturation. And it's like with color, you can transmit a feeling with color. The way with words, you might be limited. You can communicate with color and art in ways that people can't with words. So I really like art for that reason. And I feel like if I try to have like conversations like this with other people, they'll call me smug, like Dale Gardner. I can't say one sentence of my own thought without him calling me smug or accusing me of being smug. He's one of the jackals. But I feel like I could have conversations like this with Shia and not be like ridiculed or accused of being smug, and it would just be like natural, and he'd be able to like understand and receive it. I already wrote this stuff to him in a letter, but which I think he read. I don't know. It's hard to say what videos he's seen and what letters he's read or how he interpreted them. I don't know what he thinks. So yeah. But Shia likes art. I give that 2 stars. Also, there's this hymn, Shia. It's called God All Nature Sings Thy Glory. And it's like music, art, the fruitful garden. All the labor of his days are the calling of his maker to the harvest feast of praise. It's like all of these art, music. It's just good and glorious, and I like art and color. Color is glorious. I really liked Jeff Daniels' character in Pleasantville. How he says like every year he gets to paint a Christmas mural on the window, and he takes a picture, and every year it's different. He gets to paint a different Christmas mural, and he looks forward to that every year. He thinks about it the whole year because it's different. It's something new, as opposed to like everything else in Pleasantville. It's orderly. It's the same thing. The basketball team never loses. Everything's pleasant. There's no There's no emotion. There's no sadness. There's no loss. There's no grief. There's no suffering. Everything's pleasant. And it's like, joy is so much sweeter when you've tasted suffering. So having that dichotomy, it heightens the experience of joy when you've experienced sorrow and grief. You wouldn't know what joy is if you didn't know what grief was. So, and when things start going, changing colors, and they're looking at this book that they got from the Library of Art, he makes a comment where it's like, what a privilege it is to be able to paint with such colors. And it's just something we take for granted. Just color in and of itself, and the glory of color. And things aren't black and white, but colorful. So here's a quote from John Calvin. He's a prod. He's a Protestant. There is no color in this world not intended to make us rejoice. So I think you would like that quote. It has to do with art. It has to do with color. It has to do with joy. Hashtag joy is sacred. John Calvin, yes, he is a Protestant, but he does baptize babies. Ew, he's a Presbyterian. So I think that's like mutual ground between us, between a Reformed Baptist and a Catholic. I think Protestant Presbyterian is like a middle ground. So yeah, John Calvin, he's not a Catholic, he's a Protestant, but he is Presbyterian. He baptizes his babies, so it's close to Catholicism, maybe. I don't know. I'm sure everyone would call me a heretic by that statement, saying that John Calvin is close to Catholicism. I would be hated by all from that one statement alone. Oh, man. Yeah, so there's a painting that I made. There's no color in this world not intended to make us rejoice. So I think you might like that quote. And similar to how you said that Will Smith is your uncle, you're my fucking brother, Shia. So I did find that picture that my friend photoshopped of me and you when I had like that crush on you throughout college. And that was back in the day when Photoshop took a long time. You couldn't just do like a face swap app. She like spent a lot of time on that. So that's you and me. Again, there's you at my birthday party. So I remember, I don't know, I don't choose what I remember and what I don't remember, but I remember as a kid watching Disney Channel, and they had this little commercial in between shows, and they were doing this thing on reading, and everyone was talking about the books that they've read, and you were talking about a book that you read, and it was The Red Badge of Courage. I remember you talking about this book that you read, and it was meaningful to you, and it was impactful to you. So after hearing you read that, that you read that book, I went out and I checked out that book from the library. But at that time, I think I was younger, and the reading level was above my reading level at that time. But I did attempt to read it. I remember going and checking out that book, and I was like, well, Shia read this book. I don't think I had a crush or anything on you then. I think I just liked you as, I don't know, your character. You're my fucking brother from Even Stevens. So I remember checking out that book because I was like, well, if Shia read this book and he enjoyed it, I'm going to read it too. But the reading level was above my ability at that time, so I returned it not having read it. But I bought it. It's going to be delivered today, so I'm going to start reading it again. Red Badge of Courage. These are ways in which I've followed your example. The Red Badge of Courage, that your example motivated me to read and try to grow my mind and be better. And maybe at that time it didn't stick, but you're still a good example as an older brother. There, you're at my birthday party. Those are my two sisters, and there's you. That's my brother. You're my brother at my 19th birthday party. And you've encouraged me in pointing me to Christ and Jesus and his sufferings. And with that interview for your Padre Pio movie. I haven't seen that movie. I probably should watch it. But your example here was encouraging. And then your motivational speech, don't let your dreams be dreams. That's been encouraging, and I've been following that exhortation. That's why I make my rollerblading videos now. So in all these ways, you've been my older brother. So thankful for that. Here's another video from Hot Ones.
He's intense. So Shia, I'm doing these for the first time right along with you.
Hey, wow, that's cool. That's also an honor that you let me do that, because I know the Jonas Brothers opened up your last thing,
And now
they're
Shia
the fucking
LaBeouf.
Jonas Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for that. Wish I had some brothers. All right, that's a win.
So when you
I included it because it ties into the brothers statement. I don't have any brothers of natural descent, but I'm thankful that you've been my older brother. I was once in a community where I thought I had a lot of brothers in the faith that would be there for me. And I was poorly deceived into thinking that that was the case. I have a couple. Chase Burchett, probably one. But other than that, no. A lot of my so-called brothers weren't very brotherly to me. So I can empathize with that feeling. I wish I had brothers. But I'm thankful that you have been my brother from a distance. Here's more of Channel 5.
Traditional Catholic, and let's say a more Bill.
Bro, you can do whatever you want with the text. It's not my business. You know what I mean? I'm a traditional Catholic. That's okay.
And what's the difference between a traditional Catholic and let's say a more progressive Christian?
I really fuck with the Bible.
You believe in hell and stuff?
Yeah.
Who do you think's down there?
Who's down there? Martin Luther.
The man who wrote the Protestant
Martin
Reformation.
Luther's there. Yeah, he's
He
gone.
had the special haircut.
He's gone. That fool's gone.
For denying the divinity of the Pope.
There's a whole lot. We could talk about this. There'll be the whole rest of the interview. I don't want to do that either. I'm not Mel Gibson. I'm not trying to be out here doing that either. God bless you. I love you too. I'm not that guy either. I'm not angry with my Christianity like that. I just really believe in what I believe in. I'm not trying to proselytize nobody. I'm not trying to hold no traditional Catholic line. I'm not some fucking weirdo like that, tight ass fucking. No, I'm none of that, bro. I'm on my relationship. I'm in a full-blown love affair with Jesus. And I believe what I believe.
One thing you did mention earlier was this certain type of person that creates confrontation when they see you for whatever reason.
You sure?
Maybe they bring up conscience.
So when you say you're not trying to hold no traditional Catholic line, what I hear is liberty of conscience. That's what that sounds like. It sounds like you have your traditions, but you don't force your traditions on other people. It sounds like liberty of conscience. It sounds like you believe what you believe and you're not angry with your Christianity, and other people have the liberty and freedom to believe what they believe in regards to their traditions and their practices and the outward ordinances that they do that aren't the weightier matters of the law. It's just kind of outward appearances, but again, God looks at the heart. So when you say you don't hold, you're not trying to proselytize or hold a traditional Catholic line, sounds like liberty of conscience. So I don't know if you have any Protestant friends. We have a lot in common. I'm gonna make us be friends. It's the forbidden friendship. This Catholic boy and this Reformed Protestant girl. We're gonna be friends. I think my acquaintances and people who actually know me, if they watch this video and they kind of like examine it, they'd probably like, you know what? Yeah, they would be they would be good friends. It would probably be the type of friendship where, like, it would have to be few and far between, where it's like if we get together too frequently or too much, it's like the energy would just implode and we'd be like a source of destruction. We'd be like too much alike. It'd be like too much chaos and calamity and insanity, I think, if we were like, I think that's kind of like the type of friendship where it's like if we, when kind of like me and my sisters, when the three of us get together, everyone else is in misery, but the three of us were having the time of our lives. I think that's what it would be like if you and me were friends, and we will be friends. That's my dream. I'm gonna make it happen, Lord willing. I think that's what it would be like, though. Me and you would be having the time of our lives, and everyone else would be in misery, having to put up with us. I think that's what it would be like. So it would have to be in like measured amounts. I think we would be good friends, though. And depending on your Catholic practices, I don't know if any of them are like deal breakers with your friendships or anything, but I did go to a Catholic service with my friend Danielle, so that's me embracing my outward, Catholic appearances, wearing black. My heart and mind wasn't engaged in it. I don't know a lot of the stuff, what they do or anything, so I was just there observing. My heart and mind wasn't engaged in it. So, for the people on the Protestant side that are ready to kill me because I said I went to a Catholic service, I was just there observing, okay? My heart and mind wasn't engaged, but I did go. So that's me, and that's Catholic Rebecca. But another thing about Shia, he loves Jesus, and there's that clip, I'll probably include it again, where they ask, what would you say to Jesus? You wouldn't say nothing. You would just kiss his feet. Shia has genuine affections towards Christ, towards God. And I have this passage from 1 Peter, verses 3-9. And though you have not seen him, you love him. And though you do not see him now, but believe in him, you greatly rejoice with joy inexpressible and full of glory, obtaining the outcome of your faith, the salvation of your souls. So Shia has real affections and love for the Lord Jesus Christ. So I'm going to make that 5. I have it as 4 stars. I'm going to put that 5. Seeing those genuine affections for Christ. Also, Shia, supposedly your birthday's coming up on June 11th, and your birth year was 1989. I better be invited to your birthday party. Yes, that's a Peanut Butter Falcon reference. 1, it's my dream. 2, you're my brother. And 3, you've been to mine. That's you at my birthday party. That's your image and likeness right there. You were there at my birthday party, so I better be invited to your birthday party. I don't know what you do on your birthday. People have different views in regards to their liberties, and what they partake of and what they don't partake of. Your birthday, you probably partake of things that maybe I wouldn't, or maybe I just don't like partaking of. But I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge you on what you do or don't do on your birthday. But I better hopefully maybe get an invite. I can keep you out of jail, or help keep you out of jail, while you do whatever it is that you do on your birthday. So, your birthday's coming up. I hope I get invited to your birthday party. Also, how would you counsel me? So if my dream is to be your friend, would you counsel me to keep pushing for my dream? Don't let your dreams be dreams? Should I just keep pushing? Or should I respect your boundaries and keep myself from entering into stalker qualifications? I got your address from those nice men with cameras when I went to go peacefully protest at your supposed hearing that ended up not being a hearing. But they gave me your address, and I've dropped off some letters in a book and some artwork. I had made signs, so that's what I mean by artwork. The best sign was, I think, you can't spell happiness without Shia. I think that was the best one. I think that's the most creative one. The one I'm most proud of, I guess. You can't spell happiness without Shia. So you received my artwork, you received my signs. How would you counsel me, Shia? If that's my dream, to be your friend, would you counsel me to just keep showing up at your house, ringing your doorbell until we're friends? To not let my dreams be dreams, so I just keep pushing that boundary, keep pushing barriers? Or should I respect your boundaries and keep myself from entering into stalker qualifications? And I have this music video from Lady Gaga, Paparazzi. I think I'm gonna keep going until you say, please stop. I think that's reasonable. And that I could just keep going until you say, please stop. So, yeah. Because so I've been to his house twice. The first time, I didn't ring the doorbell. I just laid my stuff there and left. And then I came back with some other stuff. And that time I did ring the doorbell. Shia didn't answer it. Someone else did. But they didn't tell me to don't come back. They didn't tell me to stop. So maybe I'll go back one more time. Break into your truck and get my picture. Steal a pen. Force you to sign something. Yeah. How would you counsel me, Shia? Should I keep pursuing my dreams? Don't let my dreams be dreams. If my dream is to be your friend, I think we would be great friends. I think that's objective. Yeah. But again, it's like, as a celebrity, the public, they cross your boundaries. So it's like, I don't want to be that guy. But you say, don't let your dreams be dreams. So this town's lost its faith. They don't believe in miracles. They haven't seen God work. And I talk about how I got your address in this video when I went to go peacefully protest at your, what I thought was a court hearing, but it ended up not being a court hearing. But in my mind, coming across your address or being handed your address, that was nothing short of a miracle from God. So this town's lost its faith. They haven't seen miracles. And if we became friends, well, that would be a huge witness. That'd be, a huge witness for the power of God to work miracles and make dreams come true. Yeah, that talks about how I got your address from those nice men with cameras. That's the action figure that I got. You owe me a picture and a signature, at the very least. I at least deserve that. Not like I deserve anything, but I think it'd be your good that we were friends. Not even doing this for my sake. I think we would be good friends. I feel like I know you. There are other interviews where you say things and I know exactly what you mean by what you're saying, and I'm like, now I know too much about him. Now I know too much about him. But it's not like you exposed yourself, you revealed yourself, you uncovered yourself with those words. So that's not on me, that's on you. I feel like I know Shia too well at this point from his interviews. Also from your movies, I like these scenes. So here's the one from Fury with Isaiah chapter 6. Also, you guys, he literally pulled out his tooth for this movie. I didn't know that. And he cut his face to give himself these scars for this movie. That's insane. Also with the friendship thing, I thought about I thought about getting I was going to get one of your tattoos. I was either going to do like the crown, where you have the crown, I was going to do the cross, or I was going to do that quote on my bicep, the same tattoo you have, so that so I could just make the claim like, yeah, me and Shia, we're best friends. Look, we have matching tattoos. What more evidence do you need? I thought about doing that, but that seemed a little too crazy. Maybe I would do the cross on the hand or the crown, because I thought that one was cool, and I would probably get those of my own accord. The God one, I don't like the font, and I would probably change some of the words, so that's why I wouldn't do that one. But people have already made the claim that I'm crazy, so now it's like I just have to embrace it. So if I got your God is tattoo, it's like, we're best friends, we have matching tattoos. You can't argue with that. What, you think me and Shia got matching tattoos for no reason? What other evidence do you need? What says best friends more than these matching tattoos that we have? So I thought about doing that. You know, dress for the role that you want. I like this scene from Fury.
There's a Bible verse I think about sometimes. Many times. It goes, "Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" And I said, "Here am I. Send me." Isaiah chapter 6. Yeah. Dog. Exactly right. Oh, wow. You're something.
So like that one, and then here where you're saying Christ is Lord.
Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. Say it. You say Christ is Lord. Get out. Get out.
Yeah. So I like those scenes from your movies where you quote Isaiah 6, and when you're saying, you know, say Christ is Lord. A lot of people say it in word only, and it's just empty, vain, arrogant words. There's no substance to it. They don't say Christ is Lord by their deeds. So, and then to close, I have this verse, plays a part into my jackals reference. Isaiah 43, 19 through 21. I think it's another John the Baptist reference. A roadway in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. The beasts of the field will glorify me, the jackals and the ostriches, because I have given waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert to give drink to my chosen people. So that concludes part 10, Shia LaBeouf part 10, Does Shia Serve God? Well, for those reasons, I think he does. He feels he doesn't want to hurt others. He cares about the needs of others, even when people are inconsiderate of his needs. He respects others, even when he's being disrespected by other people and they're not respecting him. I think he serves God for those reasons. Invite me to your birthday party, Shia. Okay, thanks.